Page 26, We Three Kings of Orient are. 3/8 time. Isn't this interesting? An eighth note gets a count, but there's only 3 of them in a measure. It's got one sharp, so it's either in G major or E minor. And this piece is kind of interesting because it's actually 2 different keys. It's actually both. It starts out in E minor. It's an E chord. It doesn't always have to start out in its number 1, it's a 1 chord. It can start out somewhere else. But this happens to be an E minor. But when you get over to page 27 on the refrain, it goes into G major. And it ends in G major. So the verse is in E minor, the refrain is in G major. It's interesting. So right hand, you're starting here. Remember the F sharps. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Lift up between the phrases. Remember, just a nice lift up. I exaggerated for you. It's actually just a small move, but that's what it is. Third line, you're ending here on the first measure, third line, then you're going to lift up during the phrase and move. Another way of doing that is to stay where you are, lift up and third finger on the first one and then thumb. I think is a safer way to do it, is here. And then you finish that up, and then the last line on page 26, the last couple measures, crossover and thumb. And then third finger at the top of page 27, and that 8th note, I'm going to hold that 2 counts instead of 1 because of the fermata, and then lift up. And you don't have to lift up here. You can phrase all this together. This, here, and then just go on. Because you're not going to go, oh, star. That's unmusical to do that. Just connect, oh, star, and it leads in there, old star, old goody. It's just... all you're doing is lingering on that A. I mean, you feel how long you hold a fermata down. You're just... and when you're ready to go, or people are starting to get edgy, you go. Now, you're ending the second line on page 27 here. And then again, they want thumb. It's between a phrase, you can lift up and move. Or stay where you're at and just play the first note in the third line with 4th finger. And then thumb. Because you need to be able to do that too. There are different ways of fingering these. Their fingering is fine. You can move up and move. You have to look down at the keyboard for it, and this way you don't usually. And then in the last line, now you are doing it 1, and then go back to 4th finger. Well, this is exactly what I was telling you to do in the line above, except the other way around. Because when you end the third line, there's nothing to prevent you from lifting up and moving down. The problem is it's really not a phrase break. The third line going into the 4th line really should all be one phrase. Connected. I don't know why they would break the phrase there. I disagree with that. I would connect the last 2 lines on page 27 together as one phrase. In the right hand, play it all legato, all connected. In that case, you do need the thumb on the first one and then 4th. Yes, I would do that. You don't just automatically put in phrases for a line or for every few measures. You got to make it musical. What is the music telling you to do? And if there's words, what are the words doing? The refrain doesn't change from verse to verse. All these verses at the bottom of page 27 go to page 26. They're all there. On page 27, each time you would sing the same words. So, wow. Now for the left hand, your chords mainly here, the 1 chord and the 5/7 chord. Remember, it's E minor. That's pretty much it till you get down to the bottom. Then reach up with the thumb. And they're saying 2-1. That means you play it with the 2nd finger and immediately put the thumb on it. You substitute here. Now, don't have to. You can stay right where you're at and play the last chord with 5/4. It's a little harder to do. You may not want to try that. I mean, you might not be. You have to do it eventually. If you advance in piano playing, you got to be able to do that. But right now, just substitute if you want. That's fine. And then here at the top of page 27, a D, C, and then go on. And their fingering is fine throughout page 27. Then you kind of put the hands together. Remember, we want to hear the melody. That's play the right hand out, keep the left hand soft. I tend to get softer as I can finish. And then the next page. Hang on to that and connect the right hand. Not that you can't connect that way, you can, but just not. Get the idea? You get to know it. The piece is kind of a middle of the road piece. You're going to hear this at different speeds. Depends on who's doing it, the arrangement, how they feel, the atmosphere. Then go on. Etc. You'll have to decide how fast you feel like doing it, and it'll be a different speed each day too. It's how you feel or what time of day it is or whatever. Be careful and try and be accurate with this if you can. Look on page 27 in the third line. Now the left hand's been doing dotted quarter notes, like 3 beats solid. And all of a sudden at the end of page the third line, they give the left hand a 1 beat rest. Where did that come from? Don't know, but go ahead and do the rest. So that last measure, you're here. When you play the B, come up here, and that gives you a chance to move up. So that helps a little bit. There. Just be aware of that 1 beat rest. We need to hear the rest. I'd like to do it with you slowly to check the notes and the rhythms though. We're only going to do it 1 time. If you want to do it 5 times for all the verses, that's up to you. So I'll give us 3 counts. So go ahead and put your hands to start here. 1, ready, go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 3, 2, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Hold. 2, 2, 2. 1, 2, 3.